Let's see, there we go. Maybe adjust this camera a little bit. That's not terrible. I kind of like that angle a little bit on the tripod. Yeah. Okay. So first off, let me start off by saying Happy International Beyblade Day. I know we're a day late, but our celebration at my local scene was today, and we basically had us and our sister organization. We had effectively what was our celebration where we have sort of a tournament off. Um, where the two organizations, the top 15 from their All Stars in ranking and our top 15 in our All Stars ranking, kind of battle it out. For those who don't know, International Beyblade Day is always the 21st of this month because it's the third month. 21st is 2-1 and it's 3-2-1 go shoot. So not only is this a celebration of all things Beyblade, but I really wanted to win this tournament. And you guys might know, have noticed that in my time doing a lot of competition, because I'm going to do a deck breakdown, but I want to explain why I chose to use this deck. And then we'll go ahead and get right into it. And I'll get into the deck proper. But this International Beyblade Day, I wanted to, excuse me, I really wanted to use a deck that would include both Dragoon and Weiss Tiger. Why Dragoon and Weiss Tiger? The first Beyblade I ever received, I was a young kid, and it was actually the original Drigger, and my grandpa bought Dragoon. So me and him played in one of my mother's pots because I did not have a Bay Stadium, but he bought them for me and Dragoon for him to use, and we just played in my mother's pot, her cooking pot. It was literally a cooking pot. It was a pot that you would make, excuse me, you would make rice in. I think that's a good angle. There we go. Sorry, it's bouncing around because I'm all over the table. So that is why these two are on this deck. The overall theme of the deck was to try to use the 4X versions of, not the exact rips, but basically the X versions of the original Blade Breakers team, and kind of turn that into an actual competitive deck. Now, this is a full balance type team, and I'm going to break down each bay, why I'm using the combo that I'm using, and why I chose to kind of use that part assembly and the ratchet assembly. So without further ado, we're going to start with the quickest one to get through that you guys probably already know. I've done quite a few videos on it. That is Black Shell. Black Shell, or Yellow Shell, is running 360 level. If you know me, you know I've already taken first place with this before. Well versed with this. I thought about running low flat, but the extra stamina and late game KO potential, especially in a TT stadium where it's super wide, I just feel like while the 180 low flat set that I've used on it before is good, I feel like the 360 level, having just a bit more stamina, level just has more stamina. And I felt like, especially against a flat user or a low flat user, it helps to have something like this bay that has high recoil, but still a little bit of weight from the 360. And the fact that the 360 is kind of aligned with these points on level kind of gives it just more stamina and super recoily. You could, of course, run the 960 on this and the 360 on the other bay, but I really felt like it was better to use the 960 on one of the other bays. So that's all we're going to say for that one. Next up, we have Crimson Garuda. Now, I've already had a first place win with Crimson Garuda on a similar set. This one varies because we have the A2 model point on this one. We are not running taper. While this is a great attack hybrid, attack and stamina hybrid, just very aggressive, slightly leans into stamina, even though the bit is better for stamina because it's light and the attack heavy recoil side, right? Of Yellow Shell. I am a professional Beyblader. Yellow Shell, the A2 mold point specifically, On the 960, the orientation is to offset somewhat where you have these initial contact points. So they actually try to point in between the gap here with the 960, similar to a 360. An A2 point mold, it basically came down to the fact that this, unless I'm using winder, which is exclusively what I used for this, will struggle with rod ball. So I needed to make sure I had 3 other combos that don't struggle with rod ball, since this is a 4th bay format being an invitational. I knew that we would be able to have a 4th bay, make adjustments with it, swap it in and out. I felt like this was the best option on point, because this does, right, granted mine is a little heavier, but this does put all the recoil at the top and tend to KO even 960, which is harder to knock out because it has less weight. It doesn't carry itself out. Even 960 Wizard Rod, this is fantastic. And also has a bit of stamina against a lot of the crazier attack types and can knock them out, can take out Phoenix Wing or Pegasus. Granted, I think you have to know how to tilt, when to tilt. You need to know your opponent's combos very well to use this. But again, I'm very familiar with this bay. I've already gotten first with it before, so I knew I could do it again. It's a difficult bay to use if you're not good at balance types. If you're like a stamina player or maybe a defense player, you'll struggle with this. Whereas an attack or a balance player, you'll be okay. And my whole deck is balance types because I don't just main defense, I also main balance. And part of this was, again, just having more, if we come up against the Hexa Wolf, how do we KO it? Like, right, you need something that can deal with that plastic ring and still be able to KO it. This does the best against Wolf. This can still scoop it up on a tilt and smash it and smack it away. I don't know if you could see all the markings on it from just beating the ever-living piss out of everybody and their mother. But Garuda still remains one of the best bays, in my opinion, of this type. I think people just don't want to use it because they don't know how, and it's not an instant win, and you have to really try with the combo. But you can go back and see I've had plenty of luck with this. I love this bay. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and get into Cobalt Dragoon. I thought about running a 370 ratchet here, but I chose 4 because of the extra stamina on Elevate. Running it as Elevate for me is very aggressive because of the places that I pick to land and drop in on. I prefer to drop in on the ledge to kind of get it to be aggressive and grab traction. So Elevate behaves for me a little bit more aggressive. 460 is pretty well tucked in here. And the thing is, we have a lot of stamina with this and can outspin Rod. That really is the key. 4 helps keep it a little bit balanced in its behavior, even while being aggressive, and it can still most certainly KO. 460, I feel, gives it a better balance also against other attack type matchups. You're not going to cheese a win with Rush on an outspin on me with it, and it is just a serious threat. And so is Crimson Garuda in this as well. And last but not least, again, and I cannot reiterate this enough, bursting is not the biggest issue in X. This is not the burst generation. You can't be afraid of bursting. It's only 2 points. And like, it's like when somebody is using stamina, it's like, okay, well, if I'm aggressive enough, even if you get a couple points on me, I can still get points on you on a KO. And those points can count for more. And if I change my trajectory, it's very easy to control with this 460 Elevate setup. So positioning yourself for a KO is a lot easier than the 560. I still think 560 low rush though. I was very tempted to kind of put that on there because it's very good. It's very good, and I won my last tournament actually with that, which that tournament matters for my organization's ELO. This one doesn't. This is just like a grabbing the best of the best from both organizations and having them go at it. And last but not least, this one is probably going to confuse some of you because some of you are going to be like, Matt, why didn't you just use the 80 height version? Especially if I'm going to use high taper, because 560 high taper is a little hammer and can deal with. And by the way, let me know in the description if you'd like some video footage just of these knocking out pretty hard Wizard Rod. I can make shorts of it. Actually, I think I will. I will make shorts of it. This thing has a few advantages. I thought about 960 high needle, but then I realized, well, wait a minute now. I can't just go defensive, and I ultimately chose a balance type for a reason. Everybody knows my 360 taper set for this is very good, and I've used it a lot in competitive and had a great deal of success. But the ability to down smash on things like Dragoon, down smash, unsettle, elevate, and usually get bursts is a little rare. Dragoon is not usually used aggressively, so when you have the ability to kind of hit down and then KO, you might as well. Rod gets knocked out by this. This knocks out Rod perfectly fine, and Hexawolf. This is very good at beating out defense types as well. Whereas if I ran a defense type, I wouldn't be able to just pick up the KO. I know my 960 high needle was really good as a defense type, but this time I decided pretty much just to use balance types. So the 560 helps to add a pretty decent amount of weight, I would say. Definitely helps us, helps us out in that department. One of the things that we did do was counterweight it some, where there's 2 here and then 3 on this side where there's just a single. And that's just strictly for adding a slight bit more stamina and keeping things balanced, which really helps us to pick up KOs a little later in the game. Again, late game KO potential is usually tied to 1, 3, and 5. I still think 3 and 5 are better at it. And if you're not worried about late game KO potential, you can run, something like 9 or 4. So you have to kind of build with purpose. The whole team, the idea is if they're using a defense type, I could easily out stamina them, right? These 3 all match up really well, actually really 4 against most standard Hexa defense types. Wolf included because the jagged shapes of these bays kind of reduces that. And then as far as using Black Shell with Winder, I just used string on obviously Dragoon, and then I used string obviously on these 2. I picked up 3. But yeah, no, it worked out really well, and I really wanted to win this tournament for my grandpa and win with Weiss Tiger because it's a modern trigger. And I hear people say it's not good. I disagree. It's a Beyblade that demands to be used for a specific job with specific techniques. It's solid as a balance type. Again, 360 taper is fine. I chose 560 high taper because it's similar, but it weighs more and it's more balanced. And it's just an overall, like I will give you an example on a lower matchup. Obviously, I'm going to want to use one of these 2 if they're using something like under needle cheese, whatever. Right? But sometimes you're looking at Wizard Rod or whatever, and maybe a defense type that is on Hexa. Well, Hexa is still a balance bit, and it's really meant to kind of be in a mix of aggression, a little bit of stamina, and mostly defense. So it's one of those things where you kind of need something to deal with that. So this is just a great answer. That has no problem knocking out Silver Wolf, not having to worry about engaging with the plastic. This will just break Silver Wolf. So this will just KO it. Doesn't believe it's relevant. And then what is this? Doesn't believe that Silver Wolf even exists. So yeah, I think that's about it for this. But yeah, no, it was such a great National Beyblade Day. And I had so much fun being out in the sun. You can go back to my previous post before this video. After winning, I decided to go walk on a trail and take some pictures of the lovely Florida shrubbage. So just a lot of fun. Also, winning this tournament means a lot because in the burst era, even though I've competed in some of and last year I competed in the our 2 organizations coming together, right, for our invitational, and I did not perform well. So getting a dubs this year with all the work I've put in and also with coaching is just really humbling because I feel like I've come a long way. I was good then, but I had a lot of weaknesses I knew I needed to cover. And I still have some. Like today, I definitely did see some minor flaws with the deck. And there are some parts I do think I would change and run differently, just because Impact Drake has become the solution for just about everything. Like, bro, taper on 460 and tilt, and just things get heated up at the stadium. It's amazing. I'm actually getting better with Impact Drake. I just don't feel comfortable using it in a tournament right now. Not till I get better with it. I feel like there's a standard, right? Especially with a lot of players running Wolf, Rod, etc., right? Dragoon, Elevate, just all these different bays. I feel like I would feel more confident once I get better with Impact. But do expect an Impact Drake video soon for some combos. And also, when CX comes out, I will be reviewing Drawn Brave and Wizard Arc and giving my honest opinions. Because I currently have both positive and negative opinions on CX. So I will reserve, though, my final judgment for when I have the two pre-orders that I have in and I actually get to, and I'm going to be reviewing them individually, so you'll probably see one go up before the other, but I will reserve my judgment for once I have them. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys for all the support. I want to give a few shout outs, a few flowers actually, before I end this video, because my next video that I'm going to be uploading, I'm actually going to be one of our longtime channel friends, somebody that I think is a really awesome A, content creator, B, person, and C, and I think that this is really important, somebody who I think embodies what it means to be an attack player with a high fight IQ in Beyblade, high blader IQ. I really want to review a video that this person posted, mostly because I feel like A, they deserve the credit, and B, to help as a coach point out to you guys, how do you deal with somebody who is a master of attack, who has a lot of experience using attack types, and is going to put pressure on you with either attack or balance types. You know, and I feel like that is going to help a lot of you guys overcome that hurdle, because I get asked a lot of questions. So I'm going to actually show you them playing, because you can learn a lot from, and one of the things I do at my team, by the way, shout out to my team, because you guys have been so patient with me and helped me test. Even my channel fans here, many of you who help me test things, you give me your results and send like little footage in the Discord. To my fellow competitors, everybody that has just helped me work on this deck, theory craft, help me come up with ideas. You guys are awesome, and you guys supporting me has helped me get to this point. My training partners, my friends, my family. As a matter of fact, I got back a little bit ago from the tournament while I'm recording this, and even my mother is super supportive. She's like, go get him. You know, but she'd tell you, I was practicing right up until the moment that I left, refining, making last minute adjustments to this deck. And, you know, it's the reality. It's very stressful. It's a lot of pressure. And to deliver with everything that I have going on right now, all the just terrible stuff that's happening to my friends, and even things that are happening in my personal life, to persevere and continue forward, and to know that my team that I'm coaching is third right now and we're on track to be first, to know that I was able to get this dub finally, because I've tried this again in burst, and I just, as good as I just never was able to get over that hurdle, that particular hurdle of this invitational. And it's been something that's always bothered me. So to win it, and to win it for my grandpa, who has unfortunately passed away. He's been passed away for years, but it just meant a lot. And I think that's what International Beyblade Day should be about. Celebrating what Beyblade means to us. So I hope you guys have a great International Beyblade Day weekend. I hope that you guys will say, regardless of whatever's going on in your life, you know what, I'm going to go grab some Beyblades and I'm going to have fun. Because that's what I feel like at the end of the day, this hobby is about. I feel like that's what matters in this hobby, is that we as people enjoy what we do. Um, Also, a lot of people have said, well, are you going to buy more CX? Maybe. I might just buy the parts, but if I do like Drawn Brave and Arc Wizard, if I like them, I like them. I'm just going to end up probably buying more CX. Not Hell's Reaper, though, or Rhino. I don't like the way they look. It's not as cool as Hell Chain. I'm sorry. Like, I know I prefer to have something, but like, Perseus and Hell just aren't doing it for me. But Arc Wizard looks cool, and so does Drawn Brave. So again, it's gonna be. I know I'm gonna feel differently once I get them in person, and how bays look online versus in person or in video. Just seeing the videos of Arc and like Drawn Brave, I like the way they look. Hell and Rhino, I can't. I don't like how they look. I'm sorry. But yeah, I am hype and excited for that. So if more CX comes out that I do like, I will be reviewing it and trying to come up with some competitive sets for them. But that's going to do it for me. I will see you guys in the next video. Remember, it doesn't really matter what anyone says or thinks. Whatever reason you play Beyblade, that you're passionate about this hobby, is absolutely good enough. Whether you're a competitive player or you just play for fun, or maybe you just collect for sentimental reasons, or maybe you just think they look neat. Either way, we all share this hobby. We all enjoy this hobby. And at the end of the day, whatever they mean to you is perfectly valid. I love these guys.